I'm Sarah from the upcoming. A pleasure to meet you.
Hi, Sarah.
Maybe you could begin with an introduction to A Bird Flew In. What can audiences expect when they watch it?
Oh, yes. Well, I can say this, that, and I've said it each time, that when I finally saw the film, it moved me in a very big way. Because, you know, when we usually do a film, you're on the location, whether it's 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, but you meet all the other people, and the story usually involves you and the other characters in multiple different scenes. But the way they filmed this, we all worked alone in our own little moments. And 7 vignettes, if you will, in this sort of cinema verite concept. And if you'll see in the film, we're all only together in that one tiny quick scene in the beginning of the film. And then as you continue with the film, everybody's in their own places alone. Maybe 1, 2 people, but my part, I was alone. And I didn't realize the impact of the film until I saw it at a screening in Monaco a couple months ago. And I'm expecting the same emotional ride here. So not only from the perspective of being an actor within a film and part of the story, but being separated from everyone. Because you're only really all together when you read the screenplay. But then during the filming, we're all separated, and then you don't really see or feel the impact of everyone else until you see the film. So I hope that answers your question, but I was fascinated by what happened to me when I watched it for the first time, as I said a couple months ago, because I was still digesting and still processing, if you will, and I've used that description many times before. But I think this time going in, I'll have some answers, I hope.
And what can you tell us about your character specifically? And, you know, I guess the fact that this is a film not only about being in lockdown, but being a creator during lockdown, how that might have chimed with you in your personal life as well.
Well, I found it quite interesting that because the character that I play is the screenwriter of the film within the film. And I found it fascinating that he was able, or anyone for that matter, a writer who's able to write everything they're feeling, but not to verbalize what they're feeling, which is why he couldn't express his love to the person he was standing next to. But through this time on lockdown, he found a way to appreciate that. Okay. I'll have to call you with that answer.
And just finally, you know, like it's got a very female perspective, and of course Kirsty Bell doing her feature film as a director. You know, what was it like working with her as a director and with your fellow cast?
Well, I found it's one of the reasons I signed on, not just for the story and the time that I spent talking with Kirsty and Ben, but I'm always supportive and fascinated with new directors, first-time directors. I mean, it's hard enough to do anything in this industry, and I feel it's very important to support those who are beginning, although she's very familiar, she's a successful producer and financier, but for her to step behind the camera that way, I was in complete support, and it turned out to be an incredibly wonderful experience. I was a bit caught for words afterwards because it affected me emotionally, and because each element of the film is a study in human character and of something that we're actually all going through and have gone through right now in our lives. Usually, the film that was about something that